Hello children, good morning. I'm Mrs. Rajeshwari, your English teacher. Today get into the lesson. Let's start the class with positive thought. Action is key to the success. Most of the people lose because they keep themselves attached to the secondary activities rather than their passion and dreams. Success demands continuous efforts and sacrifices. What most want so you can live most can't. So success based on the action which we are taking. Let's start the class children. Today's lesson is even the flies and spiders. It's an African folk story. Yes, children, do you know what is folk tales? Folk tales are stories in the oral tradition or tales that people tell each other out loud rather than stories in written form. They are closely related to many storytelling traditions, including fables, myths, and fairy tales. Every human society has its own folk tales. These well-known stories handed down between generations are an important way of passing along knowledge, information, and history. African folk tale storytelling tradition that evolved among enslaved African Americans in the 18th and 19th centuries. When slaves arrived in the New World from Africa in the 1700s and 1800s, they brought with them a vast oral tradition. Today's lesson we are going to see about even the flies and the spiders. By the name itself, you can understand that today we are going to learn about the flies and spiders. Children, I hope you all know about insects and spiders. Can you tell anyone what is insect? Good. Insects are small animals that have 6 legs. Spiders are not insects since they have 8 legs. Children, do you know what are the uses or importance of insects? Insects provide useful services to mankind and environment in a number of ways. That is, they keep pest insects in check, pollinate crops we rely on as a food, and act as a sanitation experts, cleaning up waste so that the world doesn't become overrun with dung. As children, have you ever been scared about spiders? Spiders look very different than many other creatures we see in daily life. They move somewhat differently and they are more afraid of you than you are afraid of them. People kill almost any type of spider, while there are very few types of spiders that can kill a human. Most spiders serve good purposes. They keep the general insect population down, such as flies and mosquitoes. They are very good to live on farms and in gardens because they kill many of the destructive insects that hurt crops. Majority of spiders will not bite a human, and if they do bite, it's in self-defense. Their bite is rarely dangerous. The truly dangerous spiders are few compared to the number of different types there are. Spiders do not see humans as a prime food source. The characters of the lesson, even the flies and the spider, are Queen, Prince, Rebellion, Flies, and Spider, and the last is a uncle. Let's move on to lesson. Once there was a prince who hated spiders and flies. There is no point in them. He always told to his mother that they are ugly and they do not do any work. His mother's, that is Queen, said softly, everything on earth has a pur- purpose. But the prince did not believe her. A month passed and something very horrible happened. There was a rebellion in the kingdom and the king's family was killed. Children, do you know what you mean by a rebellion? An organized, forceful subversion of the law of the land in an attempt to replace it with another form of government. So the rebellions killed the king's family, and the only one escaped from that is the prince. Prince knew that his enemies were not far behind him and that they would never let him escape. Having the prince alive would mean that he would gather an army to take the king's place and rule the land. So Prince decided to go and live with an uncle who lived far, far away. The prince soon learned bad people were chasing him, He needed to get to safely. So he decided and he traveled only at night and through the countryside so that he would not be seen. If only he could make it through one more day of travel, he would reach the safety of his uncle's home. The journey was long and hard, and the prince's enemies followed close behind him. He ran and ran until he was exhausted, and then he fell asleep under a tree. Now, children, it's a time for a small recapitulation. Children, can you answer the following questions? Find two reasons why the prince didn't like spiders and flies. Yes? Good. He hated spiders and flies because they are ugly and they do no work. Good children. Then the next one. Tell how the queen spoke with the prince. He spoke softly about the spiders and flies, that everything on earth has a purpose. What made the prince to decide to go and live with his uncle? Prince knew very well that his enemies never let him escape. If the prince alive, he could one day gather an army to take the king's place and rule the land. So he decided to go and live with his uncle. Children, a small homework to you. Think about yourself as a prince and what will you do in that situation? As children, I am repeating, think about yourself as a prince and what will you do in that critical situation? Write in a paper. We'll continue the lesson in the next session. That's all about today's class. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.